to the Info Hub. We hope you like our new look and name. In our headlines, millions of dollars are being spent to enhance drainage in low-lying areas along East Coast. The first ever groundwater system for our coastline is on the way, and our hard-working public servants are being urged to be more effective. A multi-million-dollar plan to increase drainage in low-lying areas along the east coast of Demerara is on stream. Minister of Agriculture Noel Holder made this revelation while assessing the flooded communities along the east coast of Demerara over the weekend. Our team was on the ground with Ministers Holder and David Patterson, and Zinil Williams has more.
The Ministry of Agriculture, through the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA, is spending $600 million to execute a long-term drainage solution for the Buxton to Strathspey catchment area. Minister of Agriculture Noel Holder explains.
In terms of this area, which is one of the lowest areas on the East Coast, there is a long-range solution we're working on to get in place before the end of 2019.
The interventions cover the construction of 3 additional pumps at critically low points along the catchment area, the minister says.
We're going to get another big pumping station at Buxton, one at Vigilance, and another one at Tuzignan, which should help this catchment area a lot.
NDIA's Chief Executive Officer, Frederick Flats, says that the agency is expecting to have some aspect of the work completed before the next rainy season.
The fact that we are building those pump stations shows that we recognize that there's a deficit in the pumping capacity, and we hope that these structures are finished. At least 2 of them will be finished before the next rainy season, so that we can avoid what we're seeing here.
A ministerial task force led by Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson and Minister of Agriculture Noel Holder, engineers and other government officials visited the catchment area on Saturday after recent heavy rainfalls left many communities flooded. Zinil Williams for Info Hub.
A groundwater monitoring system is expected to be set up by the end of 2018. Delicia Haynes sat with Chief Hydromet Officer Dr. Garvin Cummins, and here is what he had to say.
The setting up of the system is being undertaken by the Guyana Hydrometeorological Service. Mapping to facilitate this system has begun. Chief Hydrometeorological Officer Acting Dr. Garvin Cummins explains.
Completed, I would say, most of Region 4. A major part of the general coast, as well as in Region 9 as well. So we are heading in that direction to establish, hopefully by the end of 2018, we should be well on our way in terms of establishing a groundwater monitoring system.
The government is getting assistance to ensure that the network is established in a timely manner.
We have in the last couple of months been able to attract a young hydrogeologist in the service. So she is currently working with the World Meteorological Organization to develop a monitoring system for Guyana in terms of groundwater. But we are really in the initial stages of this project idea.
The agency is also undertaking other research and study projects to effectively fulfill its mandate.
What we are doing, though, in addition to that, is we are trying currently to establish a national inventory of groundwater wells, whether those wells are shallow or deep wells. So we have now, in the last 5 to 6 months, been able to generate a fairly accurate map of the wells that are being utilized across the country.
The Hydromet Office earlier this year officially launched a campaign to ensure wells operating across Guyana are registered in keeping with the department's mandate under the Water and Sewage Act 2002. The Hydromet Office is responsible for the management and monitoring of all surface and groundwater resources in Guyana. Delicia Haynes, Info Hub.
Up next, Seneca Thorne tells us that public servants are being urged to develop a new set of fundamental principles to be more effective in the 21st century.
Permanent Secretary, Department of Public Service, Reginald Broderson, says that if public servants want to be relevant in this new and changing world, they must be career, result-based, and goal-oriented.
The successful public servant is a person, this is interesting, who's getting up each morning to go to work because he or she loves going to work early. He or she is a public servant who has career goals, gets up and look for circumstances, the desire, and if they don't find them, then they make them. He or she must not have a personal computer or printer, and I emphasize that personal, but being a steward of that government asset. But resolve to using the pen or the paper, the ruler, the marker, the visual aid.
Broderson was speaking at an observance to mark International Public Servants Day. He calls out those public servants who enter the public service just because they were looking for a job, underperform, and look forward to a salary increase at the end of the year.
They are driven by exterior forces that just come, you occupy public space. You underperform and still expect a raise of pay. There'll be issues with how do we move someone's salary in an incremental way for performances. So the president did refer sometime when he accepted that report. If you're lazy, you get lazy pay.
Broderson noted that government will continue to work with those public servants, but not those who are crippling the public service sector. The United Nations General Assembly designated June 23rd as Public Service Day. The UN Public Service Day celebrated the value and virtue of public service to the community. It also highlights the public service contribution in the development process, recognizes the work of public servants, and encourages young people to pursue careers in the public sector. Seneca Thorne for the Info Hub.
Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin at the 14th AGM of the Small Business Development Finance Trust urged small businesses to pay keen attention to local market demands. Gabriela Patram was at that event and filed this report.
The minister was delivering the feature address at the 14th Annual General Meeting of the Small Business Development Finance Trust Incorporated, SBDF. Minister Gaskin urges entrepreneurs to prepare for success in their businesses, since successful businesses plan for growth and development.
Pay attention to the requirements of the marketplace. Pay attention to your finances and run your business like a business. And most of all, be prepared for success.
The 2016 AGM report revealed that the plagues of 2015 followed microsector businesses in 2016, which affected the well-being of the trust members. Director Mohammed Ali says that the rice, cash crop, farming, and fishing sectors continue to be affected significantly. However, Ali notes that the way to prosperity includes all stakeholders, both public and private, working together to improve the lives of every citizen in the country.
Let us put partisan politics aside and decide upon a national strategic direction for Guyana, where all can participate and all can benefit.
Special prizes were given to the best male and female entrepreneurs for 2016 during the AGM. Gabriela Patram for InfoHub.
And now the Department of Youth is working to ensure that youths across Guyana have a better understanding of the much talked about National Youth Policy. Delon Sanko brings us more.
Director of Youth Melissa Carmichael says that the department will be conducting awareness workshops across the regions. The youth and technical officers have already trained to conduct the workshops.
We have begun work in that length. First of all, we would have educated our youth officers, social workers, who are the ones that will be implementing the programs from the youth department. We have started by educating them through our workshops and training opportunities. Furthermore, the Department of Youth have begun our regional visits, and a part of those regional visits, we have on the agenda the education of the policy. So technical persons are on that trip to ensure that the young people in the various regions understand that there is a national youth policy and they understand what it entails.
The National Youth Policy is expected to be guided by a National Youth Empowerment Action Plan. Carmichael explains that the department is consulting youth groups and organizations towards crafting the plan.
We would have begun consultation just recently. We had the youth ambassadors and youth consultants from various islands in country, Those persons, we had 3 youth consultants, a part of a meeting with the Honorable Minister and members of the Department of Youth, where we started consultations pretty much on the development of the National Youth Action Plan. Coming out of that meeting, suggestions were made for us to have, of course, extended and further consultations with youth representative youth groups so that they themselves can put together the Youth Empowerment Action Plan.
The National Youth Policy was adopted by the National Assembly on October 13, 2016. Minister of Education, Acting Nicolette Henry, said that the policy is a comprehensive roadmap which lays out the government's plan for youth development. Delon Sanko, Info Hub.
A national self-harm surveillance project is forthcoming. Director of the Mental Health Unit, Dr. Util Richmond Thomas, explained more about this project. Daniel Williams has the details.
The Ministry of Public Health's Mental Health Department is launching the National Self-Harm Surveillance Project in July. It will be launched in Regions 2, 3, and 6 first, regions with the highest suicide rate. Mental Health Unit Director Dr. Util Richmond Thomas says that there are numerous cases of self-harming, known as non-suicidal self-injury. Dr. Thomas explains that in Region 3 alone, 93 self-harm cases have already been recorded for 2017. 30 suicide deaths have officially been recorded in the region for the same period. The director says, once reported, persons will then have to see a psychiatrist or MH-gap doctor. This is to prevent potential suicide cases.
The Mental Health Unit will ensure that every case sees a psychiatrist at least once, is receiving psychotherapy, is being seen by a social worker, and being followed up by an MH-gap trained doctor. The integration of mental health in the primary health care is a very important strategy for the Ministry of Public Health, for the Mental Health Unit, and for the mental health of all Guyanese.
Research reveals these types of injuries can lead to suicide being committed. Self-harm cases should be reported to the Mental Health Unit within 1 week of its occurrence. The National Self-Help Surveillance Project will ensure persons are treated early and effectively. Zinil Williams for Info Hub.
Are you a young writer? Or do you know a young person who likes writing? Then this report will interest you. Young people between the ages of 13 and 19 are the target of a youth and student writers program aimed at revitalizing Guyana's publishing and writing industry. Here is more from Delon Sanko.
The program is being rolled out by the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Youth Empowerment. Program Director Alicia Lane says over 40 schools are participating.
So far for the project, we have worked with just about 43 schools across Guyana, and we've trained just about 260 young people in the art of writing and producing magazines and articles completely on their own.
Lane says that there have been a positive response from rural participants.
The feedback all around has been generally very good, so we're proud of the work that we would have done, and we really hope that we can actually complete it in the way that we would want it to be completed, so that these students can have an opportunity upon leaving school to have something to do geared towards developing themselves, their community, and each other.
Lane adds that the aim is to have the program adopted by the Ministry of Education.
That way, our job would just be to monitor and maintain the project. Because now the teachers that we would train would be able to execute the program in school during school time.
Students participating in the program were tasked with producing a magazine which will soon be launched. Delon Sanko for Info Hub.
And now for the info on weather conditions for the next 24 hours. Cloudy conditions and light showers are expected across Guyana. Some areas may experience thunder showers. Low tide will be at midnight, while high tide will be at 6 in the morning at a height of just over 3 meters. The above normal high tide advisory is in effect from now until Thursday. And finally, this past weekend we lost 2 lives on our roadways. We at DPI Info Hub are pleading with you not to speed or drive while under the influence. So please pay attention to the following important messages. Thanks for watching. Connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Join us tomorrow. Goodbye.